May. Thursday. Today I was trying to figure out how I was going to sneak a thumbtack into Mr. Worth's chair in history when he said something that made me rethink my plan. Mr. Worth told us he had a dentist appointment tomorrow, so we were going to have a substitute. Subs are like comic gold. You could say just about anything you want, and you don't get in trouble. Greg Hefferly, will you please do this problem? Excuse me? Well, I hardly think your mama. Excuse me? Your big fanny granny. Well, I hardly think that's your slap happy grandpappy. Friday. So I walked in my history class today ready to execute my plan, but when I got to this door, guess who the substitute teacher was? Hi, honey bunches. All of the people of the world to be our sub today, it was Mom. I thought Mom's days were getting involved at my school day were over. She used to be one of those parents who came in to help out in the classroom, but then all that changed after Mom volunteered to be a chaperone for our field trip to the zoo when I was in third grade. Mom had prepared all sorts of materials to help us kids appreciate the different exhibits, but anyone wanted to do was watch the animals go to the bathroom. Hee 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 hee. Elephants. Anyways, Mom totally failed my plan to win class clown. I'm just lucky there's not a category called Biggest Mama's Boy because after today, I'd win that in a landslide. You forgot your lunch at home. Wednesday, the school paper came out again. I quit my job because the school cartoonist after Creighton, the curious student, came out. I didn't really care who picked up to replace me. But everyone was laughing at the comic page in lunch, so I picked up a copy. And when I opened it, I couldn't believe my eyes. It was Zooey Mama, and of course, Mr. Ira didn't change a single word of Rowley's strip. Hey, beautiful lady, want to go on a date with me? I'm not a lady, I'm just one of those dogs with long hair, so no thanks to that date. Zooey Mama. So now Rowley's getting all the fame that was supposed to be mine. Even the teachers were kissing Rowley's butt. I almost lost my lunch when Mr. Worth dropped his chalk in history lent. Zooey Mama! Ha ha ha! Monday, Zooey Mama was a thing. Has already got me worked up. Rowley is getting all the credit for the comic that we came up with together. I figured the least he could do was put my name on the strip as a co-creator. So I went up to Rowley after school and told him what he was going to have to do. But Rowley said Zooey Mama was all his idea and that I didn't have anything to do with it. I guess we must have been talking pretty loud because the next thing you knew, we attracted a crowd. Fight! 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 The kids at my school always were itching to see a fight. Me and Riley tried to walk away, but those guys weren't going to let it go until they saw us throw some punches. I never had been a real big fighter before, so I didn't know how I was supposed to stand or hold my fist or anything. And you could tell Raleigh didn't know what he was doing either because he just started prancing around like a leprechaun. I was pretty sure I could take Raleigh in a fight, but the thing is that made me nervous was the fact that Raleigh takes karate. Hmm, I don't know what kind of hocus pocus they teach in Raleigh's karate class, but the last thing I needed was for him to lay me out right there on the blacktop. Before me or Raleigh made any move, there was a screeching sound in the school parking lot. A bunch of teenagers had stopped to pick up a truck and they started piling out. I was happy everyone's attention was on the teenagers instead of me and Raleigh, but all the other kids took off and the teenagers started heading our way. Then I realized the teenagers looked awfully familiar, and then it hit me. These were the same guys who chased me and Raleigh around at Halloween night. They had finally caught up with us. Just before we could make a run for it, they had us arms pinned behind our backs. Those guys wanted to teach us a lesson for taunting them that Halloween night, and they started arguing over what they should do with us. But to be honest with you, I was more concerned about something else. The cheese was only a few feet away from standing on the blacktop, and it was looking nastier than ever. The big teenager must have caught my eye, because the next thing I know, it was looking at the cheese too, and then I guess they gave them an idea they were looking for. Raleigh got singled out first. The big kid grabbed Raleigh, dragged him over to the cheese. Now, I don't want to say exactly what happened next because if Raleigh ever tries to run for president or someone finds out that these guys made him do it, he won't have a chance. So I'll just put it this way. They made Rowley the cheese. Gas, butter, gag. I knew they were going to go make me do it too, so I started to panic because I knew I wasn't going to be able to fight my way out of this situation. So I did some fast talking. I would, but I'm allergic to dairy. And believe it or not, it actually worked. You're lucky, punk. I know, I know. I guess the teenagers were satisfied that they made their point because after they made Rowley finish off the rest of the cheese, they let us go. They got back in the truck and took off to the on the road. Me and Rowley walked home together, but neither one of us said a thing on the way back. I thought about mentioning to Rowley that maybe he could have pulled out a couple of his karate moves, but something told me to hold off for that thought for right now. Tuesday at school, the teachers let outside for lunch. Took about 5 seconds for someone to realize the cheese was missing from the spot on the blacktop. Hey! Everybody crowded around. They looked where the cheese used to be. Nobody could believe it. It was actually gone. People started coming up with all the crazy theories about what happened to it. Someone said maybe the cheese grew legs and walked away. It took all my self to control to keep my mouth shut. And if Rowley wasn't standing right there, I honestly don't know if I could have kept quiet. A couple of guys who were arguing over what happened to the cheese were some ones who were egging me and Rowley on yesterday afternoon. So I knew it wasn't going to be long before someone put two and two together and figured out that we must have had something to do with it. Rowley was starting to panic, and I don't blame him either. If the truth ever came out about how the cheese disappeared, Rowley would be finished. He'd have to move out of the state, or maybe even the country. That's when I decided to speak up. I told everyone that I knew what happened to the cheese. I said I was sick of being on the blacktop. I just decided to get rid of it for once and for all. For a second, everyone froze. I thought they were going to start thanking me for what I did, but boy, was I wrong. I realized they worded my story a little differently because I threw away the cheese. Guess what it meant? It meant I had the cheese touch. Scream. June, Friday. Well, if Raleigh appreciated what I did for him last week, he hadn't said it. But we've started to hang out a little bit after school again, so I guess that means me and him are back to normal. Diaper rash ahead. Wah! I can honestly say that so far having a cheese touch hasn't been that bad. It got me out of doing square dancing unit at phys ed because no one wanted to partner up with me, and I've had the whole lunch table to myself every day. Today was the last day of school, and they handed out yearbooks after the period. I flipped out the class favorite page. Here's a picture that was waiting for me. Class clown, Zooey Mama, Rowley Jefferson. All I can say is, if anyone wants a free yearbook, they can dig one out of the trash can in the back of the cafeteria. You know, Rowley can have class clown for all I care. But if he ever gets too big for his britches, I'll just remind him that he was the guy who ate the